Hello everybody, Alexander here from Monad Pool. Epoch 241 is live and upon us, and we have some new updates for how to visualize the Cardano network and make better staking decisions for you. So head over to the website in the URL below and let's get started. So I just kind of unified the color scheme a bit, made this relay page more consistent with some of the other color schemes throughout it, so you can kind of see again the same way it's always been. Like I said, Epoch 241 is here, so we have a new slice of data in this little slider to look at, but that applies to these other visualizations. So let's turn on stake density, and we can see what we've always seen, but now there's a little bit of gap here, and I'll explain that in a second. So stake density, as always, this is the number of the amount of ADA staked in each region, and yellow values being the highest, right, and purple values being the lowest. If we turn on relay density, or let's turn this off for a second. When we turn on relay density, we see the same kind of information for the number of relays hosted in a cell. One of the bigger changes I've made is actually by turning on both layers at the same time, the interior of a cell represents the amount of ADA staked, and the exterior, or the border region of the cell, represents how do you say, the number of relays in the cell, right? I think that's right. Relays. Yeah, turn off relay density. Okay, so you get some things like just to explore that a little bit. This cell we can see has a very high number of the relays. It's in the largest what do you call it, bucket for relays, but it has a little bit less in terms of the amount of ADA staked. And conversely, the inverse is true here. It's got less relays than you would expect for the amount of ADA staked. So normally, you know, if ADA was uniformly distributed per relay, you would see cells like these purely yellow ones or purely purple ones, where the number of relays and the amount of ADA staked in them was the same. So when you see this, you do actually see that for quite a large number of cells, but you do also get these kind of other cases where there's a disproportionate amount of relays for ADA or ADA for relays, depending on how you look at it. I think the more interesting update, while these numbers give, or this layer over here in the stake density and relay density gives you a good view of the network as it exists. If you're a follower of the network and you want to know what's changed, these two new layers are actually maybe more relevant. The staking change, this is actually calculated using the last epoch's staked amount to this epoch stake amount, and the same thing for this relay change value down here, and the same idea applies here as it did to the other one, the previous two layers. So relay change is the border and stake change is the interior. So usually what you would expect to see is, like here, there was a big hit in San Francisco. They lost 10 relays and they lost a bunch of stake. Maybe, you know, some big provider moved their AWS region, I'm guessing is what happened there. This guy New York got around 20 new relays and a whole bunch of new stake. So that's that. And then just to go along with the previous thing, if we start at the very beginning, you know, no relay, we just say there's no change in the first epoch that we have data for. And then if we jump over here to the next one, in epoch, what was this? I think 239. There was a drop in San Francisco, moved up to somewhere in Toronto, and also somewhere in Central Europe, there was a big drop. And then what do? If we go to Epoch 240, we can see what happened there. Someone moved back to San Francisco, out of there, some little activity in Central Europe here. And then most recently, we have San Francisco to New York. So I don't know, it might be, seems like someone might be testing their infrastructure, moving things in and out of San Francisco, because that seems to be like a dominant theme throughout it. Or that could just be a reflection of most, you know, tech people maybe using some AWS region zone in San Fran, which would make some sense. Okay, I hope that helps, and have a good rest of your epoch. Cheers.